not okay. I don't want to look at you and say that I'm not good with money. It's just that I'm not knowledgeable about money. And as we go through these times right now where we're having to look inward and take responsibility for maybe some of the situations that we're currently in, that we could have made different choices at other times, maybe we'd be better off now. And I'm not even talking about just with money. I'm talking about the idea of what money is and how it serves us or doesn't. And I just, when I got hurt and my life changed, I chose to focus my thoughts and emotions on other things. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just bypassed the idea of the money game. So I didn't learn how to play it. And I really enjoy games, and I really enjoy being good at the game of life. And that is such a big component. And a lot of us hang our hat on the idea is if you have options, or you're successful, this and that. And I'm kind of lost in the muck a little bit. And then you toss in this really inconvenient, cloudy situation that we're currently in. And I'm just, man, where do we start? So I want to go to the guy in the suit, and I want to hear what you got to say a little bit, because
Man,
I'm a little lost, man, and I'm open to admit the idea that where shall we start? So give me a little background on why I'm lost, and where my thoughts went astray, and some ideas that you might have to kind of get me educated and back on board.
oh man, I love you, bro. Hey, first things first. Just because somebody got a suit on doesn't mean they know the money game. Like that right there is the first issue with society, is the perception and the illusion that people understand things about money just by what they look, what they drive, where they live, right? That doesn't mean you know anything about money. So the money game, we're going to talk about how money works. Look at this here. The next 3 series, we're going to go over the money game, and the money game is breaking down, how does money work? How does the basic fundamentals of money work? And Coach D, man, sharing a little story about me, as of the day of this recording here, boom, August 13, 2020. I'm 40 years young, but there was a time in my life, man, where I knew absolutely nothing about money. I made great money, and I also spent more than I made. I mean, I've been through bankruptcy. I've been through Chapter 7. I've been through foreclosure. I've been through home repossession. I've been through car repossession. I've been through $100,000 in debt. Man, but I'm so grateful for those experiences, because it all led me to understand about the money game. And you think about it right now with your question, who teaches us about money? Like, it's not our parents' fault. It's not our grandparents' fault. It's not our great-grand's fault. Majority of people out there, no one is teaching us the money game. And so, this is what we're going to embark on, just understanding the importance of money, especially right now in the COVID reflection. Man, people are so in tune to money and understanding more about money than ever. So question for you, Coach D, is who taught you about money?
I don't have a good answer for that. I wish I did. And I take responsibility for it, because when you're not exposed to a need-based skill in your life, it's up to you to use the skills that you have to pursue it so that you can find balance and be able to succeed. Because I don't think life's about one thing, or where you start or where you end. It's about constantly being able to adapt to certain situations. And as you grow and as you learn, you start to learn yourself and understand where there might be some gaps. So where I'm currently at, okay, if we're going to start with our show, inspiration, it's hard to be inspired to go out and build a foundation to follow your dreams and make your thoughts this passionate reality that you want to pursue when you're lacking the knowledge. So we started with this question, where did I learn about money? And it plays because it matters. But right now where I'm at is that it's not that I'm not inspired to want to go create money or to learn the money game or to do it. I'm attached to this feeling, this idea, this framework that I'm used to using when thinking about money. And it's been influenced by society and maybe my family and my previous failures and successes, but it doesn't really matter. Right now, inspiration is a tough word to apply towards money. So start me up, Jamar. Let me know where we can start to plant some seeds of thought that I can deal with this emotion attached to how bad I feel about not being where I want to be
Right.
financially.
Well, I got a question for the viewers out there, vested community. Who taught you about money?
Let's hear it.
So you think about that. It's not just for me and Coach D. Who taught you about money? See this right here, this house, our house here, vested, the vested empire. This is not about condemnation. We're here to help inspire, encourage, empower, create, lift up, thrust, elevate, support, love people. And today we happen to be talking about money. Who taught you about money? You know, so you look at it as the feeling, Coach D, about the money. There's so many people out there who have such a negative feeling, emotion, belief about money. And you got other people out there who understand that money is a tool, money is a resource, money is a way for us to help more people. And so I don't know if like we talked about this pre-show, right? Money, if you really want to know who someone is, give them a lot of money. If you really want to know the heart of a person, if you really want to know the intent and the motives of an individual, give them some money and watch what happens.
Jamar, I got to butt in, man. This is where I have a sick thought, because I attach this thought to looking at the world and kind of being a little bit appalled at the way that people have lots of money, spend it and exploit or whatever. And then now I'm starting to realize that there's a lot that I don't know. And as I start to have compassion towards what I'm unaware of, I'm realizing that the people that are winning in the money game might be out of balance as well. But at the same time, like, I'm just really confused. I don't know how to feel, because this thought keeps telling me that, like, money's bad because the people that have it abuse it. And if you're in that circle, then you're X, Y, Z. So I want to reprogram my mind, my thoughts, my emotions to support something that lets me look at this money as an energetic resource that can move me forward. So talk about the programming that started, you know, when we didn't learn what we learned.
Well, you talked about reprogramming. So look at this here. I mean, Crispin's talking about, you know, is it D Martini? Dr. D Martini gave him information about money, how to manage it. What was that?
I was saying, what's up to Crispin?
Yeah, hey, Crispin, what's up? What's up, brother?
Dr.
What's
John,
up, man?
There you go.
So you look at the tool, there's so many tools and resources out there, but first, where are we starting from? What's our belief first? Our belief about money. I think that is, as society, is part of the issue of what the BS that we've been told, right? Of people who have money are a certain way. No, that's ass backwards. Just because someone has money doesn't make them a bad person. And just because someone doesn't have money doesn't make them a good person either. Right? You know, if you're a douchebag before money, you're just going to be a bigger douchebag when you get money. If you are a servant leader and a giver and you have a heart to help people when you don't have the financial resources, when you get it, you're going to be a bigger giver. So it's the money is the magnifier. The money is the tool. But when you look at the upbringing of us as people in society, 98 out of 100 people have never been taught about money. But then you have that 1, 2, 3% of the generational wealth that's been taught how the money game works. And that is what, you know, I'm on mission here in my life to really help people understand more about this financial literacy, because I was in the dark for so long and I'm still learning and growing. But man, I'm awake. I'm awoke, right? You know, there's so many people out there who are sleeping through life right now and who have no desire or interest to understand the money game. But Coach G, tell me one thing right now that we can do in our daily life of operation that does not require money, unless you want to go out there and live in the wilderness on your own and find your food and build your own shelter. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the real world today. What kind of moves can you make without money either coming from you or from other resources to support the goals and the visions and the dream? It takes money.
It does. It does. I think for myself, what I'm dealing with is the idea that I had before that got in my way of wanting to be able to utilize this resource. as an energy that can get me where I want to go. And I think that the emotion that I have attached to it right now is kind of like the reason that I might be having a trouble getting the engine started. And maybe everybody watching could be in the same situation, because it's one thing to read a bunch of books about what people did with money as they progressed, but nobody really understands what it was like in step 1 or step 2 or step 3. And it gets frustrating because a lot of success involves getting bummed out about it first. So what you can do right now is you can start to have thoughts that are worth pursuing, because I think that as we start to clear this space and understand that we had a lot of thoughts and we were programmed in ways that might have led us in directions that we might not want to consciously go, it's time to consciously go somewhere. And before we do that, we have to have the thought that we're going to want to feel excited about. So for me, I'm really having to try to work with this idea that this money is this energetic thing that can move me where I want to go. Now, it's been so long since I have learned how to live life and pursue happiness and purpose without it, that as I'm trying to integrate it back in, I'm having to rethink everything and have to try to understand it as a different energy. And that's what I can do right now. I mean, we're in this COVID thing. We don't know how it's going to pan out. And that's what we can do. We can start to have thoughts and feelings and emotions to move us forward.
So let's tie this back around to practical real life. You're an athlete in your heart, your mind, your spirit.
Amen.
You're an athlete. What sports did you play?
Football, baseball.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What would the game of football or baseball be like if there were no rules? Would the game still be the game if there was no end zone in football? If there was no out of bounds line in football, would the game be the game? If there was no 10-yard first down marker, would the game be the game? If there was no home run fence to hit over, would the game be the game? If there was no first, second, and third base to run around, would the game be the game?
No, Jamar, but you know what? I'm glad you brought this up, because I feel like I've been cheated. Because I love the purity of sport. I love competition, and especially when you line up and you look somebody right in the eyes and you go toe to toe, and maybe they beat you, maybe you beat them, but at the end of the day, you had fun doing it and you can move on because it was fun to play that. And where I'm at, my hurt, my feeling, the thought that I'm struggling with is that people are cheating, that it's not fair, and I don't like how this feels. And that, Jamar, and I'm so aware of it, is not the type of thought, feeling, or emotion that's going to get me where I want to go in the money game. And it continues to get in the way because I have all of this mess of thoughts that if you just remove some of them, then I could invite Jamar or someone like you into my life to maybe encourage me, to actually give me some legitimate inspiration, because these thoughts, it's hard to get inspired by thoughts of saying, okay, they're cheating at the game, Jamar, and this is why I don't want to do it. So I'm tired of it. And it's like, dude, that's just red. You're red. You're not green. You're not moving towards where you want to go. So create a pathway for us, Jamar. Give us some thoughts now that we've found the right type of thing to be inspired about when it comes to money, this energy. Now let's create some ideas that we can start moving towards that are going to help us get the money game going.
Well, the reason I was talking about the game and baseball to bring it full circle is because there's still rules to the game. And just like in money, there's rules to the game. And there's always going to be someone who's trying to cheat in the game, whether it's baseball, football, or money. So my encouragement for us as people is let's not focus on the cheaters. There's always going to be the cheaters, always. In everything we do, there's the good, the bad, and ugly of everything. Where we focus, energy flows. Where energy flows, things grow. If we're going to focus on the cheaters in the game, then that's where our energy is going to focus, and is going to not produce what we want. We must focus and shift our perspective on the abundance and the ability that we have in the game. And so learning about, what is money? Money is money's currency that's used, right? Like, so as you already know, right? And we always talk about the spiritual level. And in my belief, when it comes to the spiritual realm, faith is a currency. When we have faith, we're able to move things with that currency. Here in the real physical world we live in, we need money to exchange for what we need, whether it's a house, car, food, clothing, we use money in exchange to barter, right? Whether it's whatever current currency is. We're here in the United States. We're talking about the dollar bill, right? The dollar, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the $100 bill. That is the currency. We need that. And now we're in the world of digital currency, right? I mean, that holds value too. So let's just talk about, when I talk about money, the concept of the currency in general, not.
Jamar, when you talk digital, keep on that thought. My brother just brought something up in the comment section about credit. Will you make sure that as you're talking about all this, that you can kind of like iron some of the credit crap out for us, because I'm lost with it all, man. Like building it, saving it, fixing it, where we're all that as well. So I don't want to interrupt. So keep with that thought, but please include the digital currency and where we're going with it and how you feel about it.
Credit is very powerful. Credit is a tool, but just like anything else, if we abuse it, man, we can lose it. And have I been down that path? Absolutely. Credit is a powerful opportunity for people to create leverage. And leverage can create more money. But when we over leverage, that's where we get in trouble, right? That's where things start to fall apart, or we're not able to maintain the weight of the leverage that we have created. So you look at it like one of these principles here, man. Albert Einstein, check this out, Coach D. When I learned this, it blew me away. Like, it blew me away. First of all, have you ever heard of the rule of 72, Coach D?
I don't. If I have, I don't remember it. I want to say that.
Hey, but you remember science class, bro, in 5th grade. The rule of 72, you look at it, it's how money works, the compounding of money. So going back, I'm going to tie this around with the credit card. Albert Einstein figured out this mathematical equation. He's like, hey, whatever the rate of interest is, divided by 72 is going to determine how our money doubles. I mean, how he figured that out, who knows? I don't know. Dude's a genius. Look at his hair. Dude he was out there, but he's a genius. So when you look at the rule of 72, it's how money works. So let's say we all have $10,000 in our bank, whatever bank, whether it's a credit union or you're dealing at one of the well-known banks here, or your own city bank, your own community bank. If we have $10,000 in a bank account earning 1% interest, first of all, Coach D, the average savings rate is 0.09%. The average savings rate is 0.09%. But let's say we're getting 1%. You have 10,000 in your bank, I have 10,000 in my bank. And we're getting 1% interest. How many times does 1 go into 72?
72 times, Jamar.
Coach D, what's your age?
40.
40. Okay. So when you are 113, right? 113. Boom.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to kick it for that long, but whatever.
112, 100. When you're well over 100, man. Now your 10,000 just became 20. So it's taking 72 years to double because of the compounding interest, right? No, it's like that. That's not how we're going to achieve wealth. So when you look at it, as we don't even understand that the banks are making the money. They're making 10, 15, 20% on the money. Their money's doubling every 7 years, every 3 years. And when you look at what they're doing, they're giving us car loans, they're giving us credit card, they're giving us mortgage loans. Now that rule of 72 works in debt too. So just like your brother D was talking about how credit cards can be scary, is because now we're paying 20%, 24%, 26%, 30% in these credit cards. And this credit is the debt is doubling so fast we can never catch it. We live in the wealthiest nation, but we're in the most amount of debt on the planet. How does that make sense?
It doesn't, Jamar. It doesn't make sense.
How does that make sense? Because here it is. No one is ever teaching us about money. So when you're 112 and now you got 20,000 from your 10,000 that you've been working on for 72 years, like that's not how we get to that financial goal.
All right, Jamar. Let's take this in a different angle. Here I am. I'm in the middle of this awareness opportunity. Okay, I did all right for myself. I've gone out there and I've made $100,000. Okay, I'm sitting on it right now. How am I going to create with that money what I want? How am I going to find purpose in myself with that energy? And how can I turn it into this thing that this idea worth pursuing that's going to create an emotion where I'm going to be able to have that money work for me? How can I do that right now? What am I going to do with 100 grand today? Damien just got, here you go, bam, 100 grand. What do I do with it? How can I create with this?
Oh man, there's see when you're looking at the different strategies, there's so many different ways to make money. Make money. The first part is we got to talk to people so they understand how to get the 100 grand in the first place. Like if we want to talk about what the 100 grand, all the different options, what we're going to do with the money, I think we're moving too fast if we want to go straight there. Because how's the person who's like, hey, I've never even had 100 grand. I don't even know how to make 10 grand.
Okay, but
I don't even understand, why I got, no grand in my bank. You know what I mean? So
well,
it's like,
to me, that's where I'm coming from. Like, I think a lot of people are in a situation, whether you're bankrupt or this or that, and you're finally in a position where you're ready to let go of all of your previous ideas, that whether they failed you or whatever, you're looking to go in a different direction. There's also the other people out there right now that are looking at a market that is completely volatile. And they might have the ability to invest, or maybe they lost their business and got half of what it was worth, and they're trying to rally from a huge loss. Like, there's a lot of fear dominating what's going on right now. And I'm sitting here coming from the question, like, the reason I switched it is because I have this Western programming saying, okay, well, I got this money. Now, what am I going to do? And I have this almost anxiety about it. So we're going in the direction of education. We're trying to create a foundation to utilize this energetic force to help us get ideas and emotions that move us towards a purposeful action. I think that moving forward, purposeful action is going to be the most beneficial thing we can do. Before, we had these jobs where we could climb ladders and accomplish things and notch little boxes in our to-do list. But now I think it's going to be about how beneficial we can be to ourselves and how much value we can offer to those around us. So I'm a little anxietal about all this. What can we do to settle down and start having thoughts to take the steps towards where we want to go, whether we have 100 grand or whether we have no grand?
well, it comes down to whenever the student is ready, the master is going to appear. I heard this story. One of my business coaches was talking about a story how the great here, Tony Robbins, wanted to connect with Wayne Dyer one day. And through a series of events, it finally happened that Tony was able to connect with Wayne Dyer. And Tony Robbins said, Wayne, I have one question for you, man. People pay me millions and millions of dollars to coach them, and I tell them exactly what to do, and they do not do it. Why? That's what Tony said to the great Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer said, when the student is ready, the master will appear. When the student is ready, the master will appear. So when we're talking on this frequency of money, Coach D, when someone is ready to learn.
Are you trying to say you're my master?
No, not me. The message is the master, bro. The message. Whenever the student, as we as people, whenever we're ready for the message is the master, then we're going to learn. So whenever someone's ready to really understand this frequency of how money works, look at this here. This is the great Steve Seabolt, man. This guy's amazing. He talked about how money works and practical step-by-step principles. And we're going to be talking about this for the next 3 weeks. And this is something on Amazon people can get for less than $17. Check this out, man. Look, it says, stop being a sucker. Start being a student. Financial illiteracy is the #1 economic crisis in the world. I'm going to repeat. Financial illiteracy is the #1 economic crisis in the world, impacting more than 5 billion people across the planet. The few who know how money works takes advantage of those who do not, the suckers. This book is designed to help you break the cycle of endless debt, foolish spending, and financial cluelessness so you can stop being a sucker and start being a student, and take control of your financial future. When the student is ready, the master will appear, man.
All right. Well, before we get into empowerment and how we can do that with money, Can we just brush over how you think society helped shape this fear or this idea that money is this bad thing? Obviously, we have the media that blasts us with it, but there's more to it, Jamar. I think that this idea is so deeply woven into our consciousness that money's either a good thing or a bad thing. You got to have it or you don't, and if you don't, you're not successful. Like, well, where did this start? And how can we pinpoint what thoughts we're having that we got to get rid of? And where do we go from here? Talk to me about how this fear is implanted in us and how we can access it, become aware of it, and move away from it.
Oh, okay, D, I'm about to throw you a porcupine, man. I'm about to answer a question with the question.
Let's do it.
Tell me, man, how did you arrive at your thought process regarding money? What has brought you to this point of the way that you feel the vibration about money?
You know what? I think the emotion attached to this and the reason why it's so extreme is because I feel a little bit hosed. I feel like the reason I am the way that I am or that I have these thoughts about money is because I accepted these, what should have been, I guess, undiscussed truths. Like, this is just how it should be. And I'm like, all right. And I didn't really investigate too much. And I knew that your credit score and the prime rate and the mortgage industry, I knew it was all very important. But since it didn't directly apply to me, I didn't choose to investigate so that I could acquire knowledge. I didn't look at it as being as valuable as it truly is, because there's only, I mean, it's, if you look at it, I mean, money is definitely fuel towards creating what it is that you want. So as we talk about this creativity portion of where money's at, we got a little off. And before we start to kind of work towards empowering ourselves with what to do with the idea about money and how to pursue the knowledge, I think it's important to kind of recognize that we got to sort of shift our mindset a little bit. And we got to accept the idea that these emotions or this violation, if you would, of how we feel is because we've let these things kind of happen and just accepted these truths that just, it's just that way, I guess. And we didn't investigate. We didn't look into it and say, this is my life. I'm going to need money to get through this. This is my system of how to create it and save it. This is what I'm going to do for this problem. This is what I'm going to do for this strategy. We just kind of like, well, I got my paycheck, I pay my rent, I got insurance, and I got gas in my car. And it's like, that's how I live my life. And I think that's how a lot of people live their lives because of this influence of fear and society putting its impression on us that we need to have this to be valuable. And I think we do, but we've got the wrong understanding of what that truly means. So give us, before we move on to empowerment, a few ideas of how we can create some thoughts to re-understand how valuable money can be in our life.
Fear.
Nice.
False evidence appearing real. Remember, there's a difference between danger and fear. Danger and fear. Danger, if we're stepping in front of a speeding train, that's very dangerous, right? But fear is something we create, this illusion of something that becomes real based on the mindset of what we created, right? So you look at here, just like Crispin's talking about, is there a specific mindset about money we should be having? Yes, the specific mindset is don't be afraid of it. If money's something that doesn't give you a pleasant feeling or it makes you not want to learn or you're afraid of money, attack it. Go straight at it. Hey, you know what? This is something I'm not comfortable with. This is something that I don't know nothing about. I want to embark on this journey. That's how when we hit fear straight on, which is just the illusion, when we hit fear straight on, the illusion of fear, we understand that we absorb fear's power, that our power is stronger than the illusion of fear. So for anyone out there, when it comes to mindset, attack it. Go at it, learn, understand. Man, the world right now, we are in the information age. Everything we want to learn right now is at the touch of our fingers. We can download everything right now. We can learn. There's so much free content in the world. We are in the world of information. If we don't know something about something that we want to know about right now, it's our fault, period. So the mindset of money is just accepting the fact that we as society, we don't know about money. So just go get it, go learn, go and hey, what is this? How does this work? I'm a novice. It's all good. I want to learn. Hey, I was taught wrong. Hey, I got to reprogram. I got to learn this. I got to learn this fundamental. But if we stay in the closet of fear and we don't move, then how are we ever going to grow and take ground and get to a higher elevation? Right? So you look at it as we must be open to learning. We must be open to attacking something that we may think is a fearful journey to embark on. And money's not everything, Coach D, but it is up there with oxygen.
Look, okay. So, I like breathing. Well, look, man, we're 3/4 of the way through the show. We've been inspired. We're trying to create. We're gonna move on to empowerment now. We're on another webinar. We're in the middle of this uncomfortable time. I've heard what you had to say. What am I going to take from this show that's going to empower me? I'm going to come back next week. We're going to do it really well. But Crispin brought up a really good point in his comment that he says that it's not that he's afraid of money. It's that he doesn't typically feel worthy of it. So where I'm at with this rant is that we've gone 33 minutes and I'm not empowered, dude. Like, yes, those words mean something to me. I feel you. I agree with you about the fear, but it's so deeply woven in us that in order to be empowered by this energy moving forward, we're going to have to create an idea that's outside of all of the ideas that we've learned to accept up to this point. So if we're going to get people to come back to watch our show and they're going to put up with the rants and the frustrations and the vulnerability that we're dealing with here as we kind of figure out everything together, how are we going to empower people in this moment with ideas about money that are going to go so deep that it's not just a rah-rah speech about how to accept the idea that it's energy that we could use, but so that we can start to uncover these deep-rooted feelings and emotions of not even being worthy of something that it's just another form of energy. So I love that we're here and we're kicking this off, but at the same time, why in the hell should I come back and listen to Damien and Jamar next week? Jamar, empower me with an idea that lets me know that this is worth my time and that we can do this together and figure out a new way and a new idea and a new emotion moving forward so that we can actually learn how to value and appreciate money.
Man, you know what we just hit on right now, that frequency, Coach D, man, that's a whole psychological level.
Yeah.
That is the subconscious mind and the conscious mind.
Yeah, buddy.
See, when you look at, like, what's the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind? The conscious mind is the farmer, is the one planting the seed. The subconscious mind is the soil where the seed grows. So if these two are out of alignment, where what we want to plant and what we want to grow are totally opposite sides of the spectrum. For example, using what Crispin is talking about, hey, I'm not worthy. Hey, my thought is I'm not worthy of money. But then if we plant, how are we gonna? Our subconscious mind is not even gonna be ready to give growth to a seed of producing a harvest if we're over here thinking that we're not worthy of the money. So when we talk about how we're thinking, like how those conscious thoughts that we have, and not all conscious thoughts serve us. You know, when you're looking at the shift of producing abundance, growth, gratitude, thankfulness, increase, overflow versus fear, lack, doubt, disbelief, discouragement, unworthiness, like those are thoughts that we control in the conscious mind. And if we're planting those thoughts in our subconscious mind, so when people out there are thinking, believing first that they're not even worthy of the value, it's going to be hard to attract the money when their belief system is based on bankrupt.
Yep.
So it's not the money, is we got to totally reprogram. We got to reprogram. Yeah, we're talking about the topic of money, but we got to reprogram the thought process about money. We're not talking about changing money. We're talking about changing the way we think about money. We're changing the way we think about ourselves about money. Everything we always talk about here, Coach D, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, financial, it's about what's happening in the mindset.
Okay. I can do this. I'm a need to believe guy. That's my thing. That's the name of my website. I truly believe that if you don't have the thought that you can do it, you will not. Because if that would mean that you have the thought that you cannot, and that thought, how that ends up is you don't. Because if you have I'll never be able to do it. Well, it's going to be really hard to be inspired from that place. So for me, I'm going to take what you're saying, Jamar. I'm going to throw it into this confused system. Okay, this not really understanding, and I'm going to put a little faith in the idea that I believe that moving forward, having knowledge about money is going to assist me in helping create my purpose. I believe that you and I have come together because you maintain a certain level of knowledge that can help me understand something about myself that I don't necessarily have a good grasp on yet. So I'm going to put this into the way that the need to believe Damien mind works. And I'm going to look at it from the perspective of here we are right now. And we're trying to move forward with an idea where we're going to take this energy of money, which is very complicated right now because we don't know what money is going to be moving forward. We know what it's been in the past. But the good thing about it is that we can create new ideas about how we're going to utilize this resource and energy. So as we're sitting around and we have this free time, we can start to recognize who it is that we are from the inside and how we add value to ourselves, the people looking in the mirror. How we can utilize our thoughts and emotions then to influence all the people in our immediate circle. And it's important to recognize that in order to do this efficiently, we're going to be able to need the resource of capital, of money, and we're going to be able to need to know how to wisely spend it. So my empowerment thought of the week would be figure out how or why you have these thoughts in your mind that might have led you astray from how you can utilize the resource of money to create a purpose that entertains the wonderfulness in you, the little kid, Let's start to think about money being this thing that can make us capable of what we've always wanted to be. Because in this moment where we have to reevaluate everything, why not look at this situation as an opportunity to unfold what's in here that feels good? Mm-hmm. So money is going to need to be a part of that. So Jamar, I'm going to lean on you. Okay. In these next couple of weeks, I love you and I believe in you and I believe in your knowledge and I believe in your passion. So
thank you, man.
I'm going to kick it over to you at this point to give us something to empower us until next week. And so that we can have faith in your knowledge and ability to help us understand this money game.
Well, the empowering thought is that we all have the ability to make a decision. You look at where we are today, we're all here based on decisions that we've made that have brought us to this point, right? You think about the decisions that we made in every aspect of our life. And once we have a growth mindset, man, I'm so excited for where my financial knowledge is going to be a year from now, where my financial knowledge is going to be 5 years from now, where it's going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Like I'm growing and growing and growing. And that's so empowering to me, is that I get to grow. And so that is where I want to encourage and challenge the vested community, is to look at it as like, this is something that we get to learn. We get to grow. Coach D, and you thinking about you and your approach, what do you think, though, moving forward from this step on is like, how are you going to start to reprogram? How are you going to look at the game of money?
I'm going to start by looking at myself, Jamar. I'm going to lean on the idea that I want to be better and that I am better by having that idea. From there, I think I will follow that rabbit hole. I will entertain different concepts that put me in a position to be able to love myself and the direction that I'm pursuing. And the way that I'm going to do it is take my energies, money being one of them, and I'm going to educate myself on how to get a good platform of knowledge so that it's not just this one-dimensional understanding, but a little bit more balanced approach towards having this community of resources working towards the happiness I want to pursue. Not to get super complicated, but the homework that I'd like to challenge everybody watching to do is to be able to come up with some inspiration to move towards ideas that are going to help you understand yourself in relationship to money, to create an experience that empowers you with some ideas that are going to get you to this next week so that we can start loading your mind with actual strategies and ideas about the money specific program that'll get you to where you want to be. So listen, before we cash out, my lady.
Oh, cash out, baby. Cha-ching.
Yes.
Look at here.
Technical support has just informed me
Yeah.
to talk about a growth mindset. And I think that it's important to understand that in order for us to grow, we need to stack positive on top of positive.
Right.
And in terms of the homework that I challenge everybody to do, we can start by having thoughts about how we're going to move towards this. And I think that once we have good thoughts that make us feel good about something that we're going to need in our life, it's a little easier to pursue it. So believe in yourselves this week. Believe that you have it in you to inspire creativity inside yourself. And then when you do that, it's going to feel good. And when it feels good, you're going to want to do it more. So it's just something small that you can do. It's not this like, oh, I'm going to save $1 million and buy myself a house on the beach. But yeah, maybe you'll do that one day. But it's all going to start with the energy of feeling good about the idea that money can serve you, that you can utilize it as a resource and that doesn't have to own you. And you don't have to be a jerk and you don't have to deal with people cheating if you're utilizing your thoughts and your energy and your emotion with the resources that you have to support the life you want.
Well, wrapping this up, bringing it to closure to cash out. Tech team, bring up the growth mindset again. I want to touch on this, Coach D, like we were talking about, where we want to encourage and challenge people in the vested community is to look at money from a growth mindset. Tech team, can I get that screen share back up? Look at it from a growth mindset of what does it mean to actually have a growth mindset? A growth mindset, people believe that their mindset, their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talents are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for a great accomplishment. So I want to challenge everyone out there to have a growth mindset when it comes to how money works, to learn, to grow, to be open to not knowing where to start. Be open to, hey, I don't know everything. What do I do? Because every single person out there is impacted by the money game. And so that's our message. Just know, we love, this is about love and support and encouragement. This is not about condemnation. We're all growing. Everything we ever speak and share here, it's for us as well. But I'm so excited that we get to embark on the money game journey because it impacts all of us, whether we want to recognize it or not. And some of us are better at the game than others. But the best part about it is that we all have the ability to play the game at the highest level if we choose to. So, Coach G, you want to close us out?
Listen, I want to remind everybody, just while we're here live and all, to not park like a punk. Do not park like a punk.
Yeah, come on. Tell me about that shirt, man.
Okay,
Don't park like a punk.
It is important for us to be aware. And I think that as we close this up, that's why I'm bringing this up, is awareness about ourselves, about money, about how we park, about who we are as individuals. I think if we're to focus on being our best self, if we're aware of what's going on around us, like the needs of other people, like when you're out, that you're not the only one doing things, and that there might be scared people and there might be frustrated people, and people might not really have a firm grip around their best self right now, for you to be patient. So let's be aware of how we park. Let's be aware of how we think and how we feel. And Jamar, I think this whole week we should be aware of the idea that money is whatever we need it to be. And if we focus on strategies to be able to support the idea that we can use this energetic resource to build an incredible life and help it inspire us to create good things that we can use to empower the world and
help more people, baby.
Value, man. And we need to be vested in these things. Jamar, thank you very much. My wife, who is the For the Love of Parking advocate, look it up on Instagram. She has done something incredible. She wants us all to be aware of our parking issues and create access for us all. That's it for us on Vested this week. Jamar,